네, 안녕하세요. Wow. Every time I start a live class early in the morning, I'm surprised by my voice, how unready it is. I should absolutely get on the phone with somebody and start talking before I talk to you guys. 아침에 라이브 수업을 할 때마다 항상 나 다른 건 다 준비됐어. 다른 자료, 수업 내용 다 준비됐다 생각하고 시작하면 목소리가 준비가 안 되는 것 같아요. Okay. The links for speaking and reading sites and in the description of the video are flipped. Thank you for clicking everything. Excuse me. I think I'm ready now. Okay. Thank you for coming in. 셰릴님, 안녕하세요. 선물해 주셔서 감사합니다. 지금 트레번, 테일러, 빌, 클레어, 하루님에게 Talk to Me in Korean 유튜브 멤버십을 선물해 주셨는데 정말 감사합니다. Thank you so much. And KD 타타유님 라이브를 기다리면서 1시간 동안 운동했어요. 잘하셨습니다. 자, 오늘 수업은 비즈니스 코리안인데요. Business Korean, of course, it is more advanced than, say, normal everyday conversation Korean with your friends, but this is the basics course. So if you go to our website now, and there are two sections in the course library, as you know. There's this bookmarked section. So if you go on there, sign in, when you're subscribed, you see the bookmarked courses as default, by default as your first set of courses that you will see. And then you click on all courses and you'll see everything. So you will see this new course in the first slot of the course directory. So yeah, we have Business Korean Essentials. That's more advanced. That's closer to like real everyday business Korean. And this is a little more basic. 그래서 조금 더 쉬울 거예요. By the way, if you're new to Talk to Me in Korean's live classes, this is where we introduce prepared materials, but also answer Korean questions that you also ask me. So I am looking here and here for the comments. And here I am typing over here and the camera is right here. So this is me. I will tell you a fun fact about this course thumbnail in a few minutes. There's a fun fact about it. Can you guess what it is? 네. 그리고 비즈니스 한국어는 언제 쓰나요? 회사에서 일할 때 쓰기도 하지만 of course you use business Korean when you work at a Korean speaking workplace, but you also use it just whenever you want to speak formally. 조금 더 격식을 갖춰서 이야기하고 싶을 때 씁니다. How to say formally in Korean. Let's talk about this before we go into the detailed expressions that I've prepared. 먼저 일단 지금 누가 오셨는지 한번 쭉 다시 한번 보고요. 낫마리님, 아우디님, 진진님 어서 오세요. 네, 감사합니다. 일찍 와주신 제니퍼님도 감사하고요. 네, how to say formally in Korean? The reason that I'm asking this is because it's not as straightforward as you might imagine. 그러니까 아까 제가 쓴 표현인데 격식을 차려서 격식을 갖춰서 라고 말할 수 있고요. 격식이라는 것은 what is 격식? 격식 is the formal, I guess, steps that you need to take, like the attitude you need and literally the steps. Like you have to do this first and then you have to do that next. 그게 격식이에요. Form, like the form factor in formal. 차리다 is to prepare, 갖추다 is to also prepare. So yeah, this is quite a mouthful. 격식을 차려서, 격식을 갖춰서, 말하다, 대화하다. Okay? And KD 타타유님, I know you learned a lot of Korean words, so I'm not surprised that you know that. 공식적이다. 공식적 is formal. So for example, 공식적인 초대, formal invitation. But this is actually also a little more on the side of official. 좀 official에 가까워요. 그래서 like speaking formally and speaking officially are not the same thing. 그렇기 때문에 한국 사람들도 formally를 어떻게 표현하는 게 제일 쉬울까 생각하다가 이런 말도 써요. 포멀하게. Konglish, right? But it's very common. 포멀하게. So, yeah. That's how you say 격식을 차려서, 격식을 갖춰서 formally speak and 포멀하게. It also works. I know it's funny, but it works. All right. So this is the basic version of the Business Korean, I guess, side. And we have two courses, Business Korean Basics and Business Korean Essentials. Essentials are more advanced, so check out both. Take this course first if you are new to Business Korean. And one fun fact about this thumbnail before we go any further is this necktie is not real. I am wearing a tie in the first lesson, I think, first 1 or 2 lessons. Let me see. Let me switch to the first lesson, I think. So this is the 1 or 2 lessons course page itself. Let me see. So if you can switch here.
안녕하세요.
I am writing a tie here. This is the 1 or 2 lessons page itself. And let me see. So if you switch here.
안녕하세요.
I am writing a tie here. The 1 or 2 lessons page itself. These are the quiz lessons.
안녕하세요.
I am writing a tie here. The 1 or 2 lessons page itself. These are the quiz lessons.
안녕하세요.
I am writing a tie here. The 1 or 2 lessons page itself. These are the quiz lessons.
안녕하세요.
I am writing a tie here. The 1 or 2 lessons page itself. These are the quiz lessons.
안녕하세요.
I am writing a tie here. The 1 or 2 lessons page itself. These are the quiz lessons.
안녕하세요.
I am writing a tie here. The 1 or 2 lessons page itself. These are the quiz lessons.
안녕하세요.
I am writing a tie here. The 1 or 2 lessons page itself. These are the quiz lessons.
안녕하세요.
I am writing a tie here. The 1 or 2 lessons page itself. These are the quiz lessons.
안녕하세요.
I am writing a tie here. The 1 or 2 lessons page itself. These are the quiz lessons.
안녕하세요.
I am writing a tie here. The 1 or 2 lessons page itself. These are the quiz lessons.
안녕하세요.
I am writing a tie here. The 1 or 2 lessons page itself. These are the quiz lessons.
안녕하세요.
I am writing a tie here. The 1 or 2 lessons page itself. Oh, I hope there's no echo here. 제가 여러 명 있어요? 지금은 어때요? 지금은 어때요? Okay. Thank you. Maybe it was the other website page that was interfering with the audio. But anyway, yeah, wake you up, right? This will wake you up. 자, 그럼 바로 시작하겠습니다. Yeah, I mean, one 현우 is good. More 현우s is better. I hope. Sometimes I wish really I could clone myself and get more stuff done. 가끔은 clone 복제하다. To clone is 복제하다. And a clone or a clone, okay, a clone, a copied product or a cloned product is 복제품. And a clone as a human being is 복제인간. Yeah, 복제. Copy is 복사. Duplicate, similar. So similarly, duplicate is 복사. Copy, duplicate. But because 복제 is literally cloning something as is, when you excuse me, my voice. I'm really sorry. That was the last time. When you go into some kind of editing software or like documenting software, when you duplicate a file, it's 복제. So you cannot say 복제 about a clone because it's the action of copying or duplicating something. So 복제인간. So I want to make my 복제인간, and then you can also say, since it's a trend that the Korean language is adopting more and more English words or foreign words as is, clone is also used. 클론 만들고 싶어요. 자, 그럼 진짜로 수업을 시작해 보겠습니다. By the way, thank you once again, 셰릴님, for the generous gift to 5 people who are now a YouTube member here. You can see member exclusive posts on the in the YouTube posts tab from now on for a month. 감사합니다. 네, 도쿄에 갑니다. 이따가 잠깐 말씀드릴게요. So, essential structures. So, check how many of these you are already familiar with. 이미 여러분이 알고 계신 것도 있을 거예요. This is very basic. So, 습니다, 읍니다 is basically much more commonly used than 요 in business Korean, of course. 알겠습니다. 네, 알았어. 알겠어요. 알았어. Then those you use 알겠습니다. The formal sounding 알겠습니다. And then, for example, 확인해 보겠습니다. So 오후에 다시 these are details, but 확인해 보겠습니다. Let me check. I will check. These expressions are commonly used, and you will see like this being repeated over and over again. So some common sentence endings. Of course, when you are requesting some assistance or some work to be done, you can say 여 주세요. 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 여 주세요. If you're not familiar with the 여 rule, basically when you take the verb and then remove the verb stem, o or vowels are followed by ayo. This is purely for pronunciation ease. A lot of the conjugation rules in the Korean language are just for pronunciation ease. So if you don't remember everything by heart, you can just try pronouncing something, and if it works really smoothly, it's probably right. If it requires a lot of effort on your part, it's probably not right. So, and 여 is after 하, and 하여 is rarely used. It's 해주세요. So many textbooks these days, they introduce it as 주세요, 주세요, or just 해주세요, including some of our lessons. 정보를, for example, 미리 공유해 주시면, here in this part 해 주시면. So if you can, if you share the information 미리, in advance, 미리. Some people repeat it like that, 미리. Well in advance is 미리. 감사하겠습니다. I would appreciate it. 금요일까지 파일을 보내주세요, or 보내주시면 감사하겠습니다. 여기 좋은 질문이네요. 그 다음은 this is very common, and I'm sure you remember me emphasizing this, the importance of 을까요 quite often, because 을 수 있어요, like 올 수 있어요, 갈 수 있어요. So for example, 지금 출발할 수 있어요. So you're going to another meeting elsewhere outside with your coworker, and you want to check, can you leave now? Can we leave now? 지금 출발할 수 있어요? Because it's already in 존댓말, formal polite language, it's fine if you are close to that person, but this is 100% weight on the other person's shoulders. 지금, hey you, can you leave with me now? But 지금 출발할 수 있을까? It is 100% self-talk, like up in the air. You're not asking anybody in particular. You're not pointing fingers at anybody. But then you add 요, which means that you are speaking to somebody. So it's kind of half in the air, half on the other person's shoulders. 지금 출발할 수 있을까요? I wonder if we could leave right now, like saying it out loud. So 잠시 이야기 나눌 수 있어요? Can we talk for a little bit? It's very direct while being formal. 잠깐 통화하실 수 있어요? It's also, while being formal, it's very direct, and the other person might feel a little more weight. But 있을까요? It's way nicer. 그리고 네, 질문들이 좋은 게 있어서 하나씩 보고 갈게요. 도 될까요? 잠시 이야기 나눠도 될까요? So, I mean, this works, but slightly different because 있을까요? It's it's more commonly used when you are suggesting an activity that you can do together. And this can be more, like not always, but more about what you might want to do on your own. So 잠시 이야기 나눠도 될까요? Because 이야기 나누다 is mutual. You do it together. You cannot 이야기를 나누다 with yourself without sounding like you are crazy or your voice is cloned like earlier. Yeah, so for example, 이거 내일 해도 될까요? 이거 내일 할 수 있을까요? So let's pick a neutral kind of example. 이거 내일 할 수 있을까요? Is more like suggesting, could we do this tomorrow? 이거 내일 해도 될까요? Is, can I do this tomorrow? Without a clear kind of context or contextual clue, yeah, the default interpretation of that would be, can I? May I? Okay, and then 감사합니다 and 감사하겠습니다. Great question. 감사합니다 versus 감사하겠습니다. This is basically the difference between thank you for already doing something, and 감사합니다 is I'd appreciate it if you could do something in the future. That's it, because of the ket. Ket is guessing or future, right? Future assumption. 감사하겠습니다. 해주시면. So if you say 금요일까지 파일을 보내주시면, if you could send me the files by Friday, if you say 감사합니다, it's like the high tension in the sentence kind of bursts. It's kind of like a balloon pops, like phew, deflation. Phew. The energy is just lost. It's strange. The flow becomes deflated. Okay. And then 되다, we just talked about it, 되다. And here 괜찮을까요 is similar to 아어여도, 해도, 가도, 먹어도 괜찮을까요? Would it be okay? So 회의 시간을 변경해도, this is slightly different from 될까요? Because would it be okay if, so it's also more inclusive of the other person as well. 회의 시간을 변경해도 괜찮을까요? Do you think it'll be okay to change the meeting time? Meeting time, as you know, 바꾸다, to change, to modify, is 바꾸다. But in business Korean, a lot of Sino-Korean words are used, like 변경하다, 수정하다, like that. Okay, so you will be bound to learn lots of words that are based on 한자, and that is why we sometimes emphasize for intermediate or advanced learners, like starting from intermediate, I guess, level and above, you need to learn some 한자, at least some basic 한자. That way you can see that, oh, this 변 is the same 변 as in 변화, change. Okay? Alright. 일단 기본적인 문장 구조를 봤어요. And now we're going to look at a sample dialogue. This is actually in the first, I think, lesson. Yeah, the second lesson. First real lesson, actually, in the course. 자, 그러면 질문이 있는지. Yeah, James says the indirect need or request a bit to get used to. Not sure if English has an equivalent or if it's more of a cultural thing. It is definitely a cultural thing. And when I switch to Japanese, there's even another layer. Like, this is something difficult to explain even in Korean. When somebody, like, as an example, in English, you say it directly, more directly. In Korean, you add another layer. And then in Japanese, you say something like, to receive your doing something.してもらう, right? If you speak Japanese, like, can I receive your doing this? You ask like that, and it's like one step further. So at least we're not that far away from English. Yeah, business, really formal Japanese. That's I'm good with everyday Japanese, but business Japanese, really formal Japanese, it's something that I need to put more information into my brain for. That's a different world. Okay, let's read the dialogue. 현우, 다혜, these are real names from our team. Kami says, "Oh no, 한국말만 배울게요. I will just stick to Korean." That's a good idea, maybe. 안녕하세요, 좋은 아침입니다. Hello, good morning. 좋은 아침입니다. I say it in the course, but this didn't exist a long time ago, or at least it wasn't commonly used. But because of the influence of English, people started saying that. I believe in the 90s, 80s in workplaces, so it's a thing now. Like I've heard so many people say this. 좋은 아침입니다. I personally don't, but you can say 좋은 아침입니다 instead of saying just 안녕하세요, because there's no other real good greeting to add to 안녕하세요. So to 안녕하세요, you can simply reply with 안녕하세요 or 네, 안녕하세요. Oh, yeah, hi. 다혜님. And 님 is very common these days in workplaces instead of she. So this happened really fast. Like if you remember, even in our earlier Talk to Me in Korean lessons, we call each other she, and it's still fine. And yeah, it still works really, really well. But it's becoming more and more common in workplaces for people to just address each other as 님, because it gives off a more formal but at the same time more equal kind of vibe. She is for somebody who's a little higher or younger to address somebody younger, or older or higher, younger to younger or lower. But 님 is like mutually respectful. 어제 늦게까지 일하셨다고 들었어요. I heard that you 일하셨다고 worked until late yesterday. I heard that you worked until late yesterday. 네, 원고 마감 때문에요. Yes, 원고 manuscript, 원고 마감 deadline or wrapping up. So it can be either deadline, 마감이 오늘이에요. The deadline is today, or I have to 마감해야 돼요. I have to wrap it up. So I had to finish the manuscript 때문에. 그래서 그런지 common expression, a very, very frequently used one. 그래서 그런지, maybe for that reason. 그래서 그런지, maybe for that reason, maybe many. Why did I write many? Maybe for that reason, maybe because of that. 네, 오늘 좀 피곤하네요. Maybe because of that, I'm a little tired. Yeah, you're bored with writing. 네, 다혜 is in this situation is also dealing with a lot of writing. 고생 많으셨어요. This is also a very common expression. Thank you. So impossible to directly translate. Thank you for a great job, or thank you for your hard work. But just basically acknowledging somebody's hard work. 고생 많으셨어요. So my mom-in-law often comes to help with the kids and some house chores a few times a week, and every time I come home and she leaves, I say this, 고생 많으셨어요. Okay? And I'm not saying great job, right? It's a different kind of vibe. 혹시 오늘 점심에 약속 있어요? 혹시 by any chance. I'm sure you already have heard of this. 혹시 by any chance. So it's a great initiator for your sentences or a question. 오늘 점심에 for today's lunch 약속 있어요? Do you have plans? Engagement 있어요? 없으면 if you don't have something, 저랑 맛있는 거 먹으러 가요. Let's go eat something good with me. Together with me. 네, 좋아요. Yes, sounds good. 그럼 12시에 then at noon 엘리베이터 앞에서 만나요. Let's meet in front of the elevator. Okay. 좋아요. 질문을 좀 보겠습니다. 높은 지위에 있을 때 감사합니다라고 말하는 것으로 충분할까요? 아니면 감사드립니다. 감사합니다 versus 감사드립니다. They are almost identical. So you can stick to 감사합니다 if you're not used to it, but 감사드립니다 also sounds really good too. So just use these interchangeably. Just keep a nice balance between these, and yeah, there's nothing wrong with just sticking to 감사합니다 for everything. 근데 괜찮아요. 둘 다 써도 괜찮습니다. Victoria says, are there any other quick natural confirmation or gratitude greetings or response? 감사합니다. Like 고생 많으셨어요. Instead of 고생 많으셨어요, you can say 고생하셨어요. 수고하셨어요. 수고하셨습니다. There are many expressions, but mainly involving 고생 or 수고, suffering or hard work, like struggling to do something and get it done. Or you can just say 감사합니다. Yeah. 그리고 와, 카미님 메시지가 굉장히 특별하네요. 잘 보일지 모르겠지만 여기에 3시간 뒤에 공식적인 자리에서 통역 일을 하러 나가실 거라고. Let me try to. Yeah. Can you read this? 현우쌤, 저 3시간 뒤에 공식적인 자리에서 official occasion 제가 통역 일을 하러 나갈 건데요. I will be doing interpretation work. 여기까지 오는 게 티티밋과 현우쌤 덕분이에요. 감사드립니다. Oh, this is a perfect example of somebody using 감사드립니다. 케이리 사타요님, 감사합니다. 공부를 열심히 하신 덕분이죠. So, thank you for thanking us. What we are doing is providing an opportunity for you to study, materials for you to study with. 여러분이 공부하실 수 있는 기회, 공부하실 수 있는 자료를 드리는 거고. The rest is on you, everyone, as you know. No matter how kind, how easy to understand a lesson is, if you don't work, no results will come out of it. 여러분이 아무리 선생님이 친절하고 이해하기 쉽게 설명을 해도 여러분이 공부를 안 하면 아무것도 되지 않아요. 아시죠? You have to study. You have to really, really study. Like, we'll make it easy for you, or you will learn Korean automatically. If anybody, with any language, if anybody says that, you need to be doubtful. How can anybody learn automatically? So what we make easier is understanding the concepts, understanding the rules and sentence structures and word origins, stuff like that. The rest is on you. 아시죠? 감사합니다. 한국에서 식당에서 밥 먹고 나갈 때 사장님한테 어떤 말 해야 돼요? 감사합니다. You can say 감사합니다. Okay, let me also share this question. This is important. So here, among the examples that you gave, please avoid 고생 많았어요, 수고 많았어요. Don't say this to a restaurant owner, or store owner. It's like, it can sound like you are the owner of the restaurant. You are the chairman of this group. And you're like, hey, good work, buddy. It's like almost, even though the expressions are formal enough, it sounds as if you're talking down. Like, how dare you say 고생 많았어요 to this person? Like, it's kind of like treating the restaurant owner as your worker. So don't say that. I know it's subtle. You can say 많이 파세요. If it's a smaller, more like a countryside vibe, kind of place. It's 많이 파세요 because this is something that people used to say in smaller villages and stuff like that, in smaller stores, but in big restaurants in Seoul, just say 감사합니다. 안녕히 계세요. 감사합니다. 안녕히 계세요. Or if you were really friendly with the staff, maybe you had a little conversation or two, a little bit of small talk happened. You can even add 또 올게요. 또 올게요. 네, 그래서 이거는 절대 안 됩니다. Never ever say 고생 많았어요, 수고 많았어요, 수고하셨습니다. To a service provider, like, or let's say, let's keep it to restaurants and coffee shops where you ate. You're the customer, you ate, they cooked for you. Don't say this. If somebody came to your house to fix your internet, you can say 고생하셨습니다, 감사합니다. You can mention 고생, but not in a restaurant. Okay. 그리고 몇 가지가 더 있습니다. Key expressions. So obviously there are way more expressions and way more, I guess, dialogues that you can read and listen to in the course itself. So I hope you check it out. If you're not subscribed yet, at least try the free trial period for 1 week. You can access everything, even our really, really nice community. So go do that. And yeah, here, these are very commonly used expressions that I hear in my office almost every day. First one is 잠깐 시간 되세요? 잠깐 시간 되세요? 시간 is time. 되다 is to be done or to become. But when you put these two together, 시간 되다 is 시간 되다 is to have some time available. Time is available. You're free. 시간 되세요? 혹 잠깐 시간 되세요? So this is a great Slack message or WhatsApp message to your coworker, or when you are just walking by, you can say 잠깐 시간 되세요? 셰릴님 감사합니다. 네, I highly recommend the courses and the community. Yes, you gain access to both at the same time. I mean, some people use the community really, really actively. Some people use mainly the courses only because, within the given limited time that they have, maybe if they have 30 minutes only a day to dedicate to learning Korean, they want to just listen to the courses and study, and they don't necessarily have more time to engage in the study reports and Q&A sessions and free talk. But a lot of posts are coming up, so you can learn a lot from other people's posts in Korean, right? Yeah, do you have a moment? And 혹시 지금 바쁘세요? By any chance, are you busy now? 혹시... So I know in English, if you said, by any chance, are you busy now? This sounds a little more, a little too indirect and too beating around the bush. But in Korean, this is very common. Do you have a moment? Do you have a moment? It's the same thing. And then 잠깐 뭐 좀 여쭤봐도 될까요? So these four expressions are in the category of asking your coworker for some time. You're, requesting some assistance. 잠깐, for a little bit. 뭐 is something, not what in this context. 좀 is a little bit, shortened from 조금. 여쭤봐도 될까요? So this is good because 잠깐 뭐 좀 물어봐도 될까요? is the same meaning, but 묻다, to ask, 물어보다, to ask, because 묻다 is just plainly to ask, the action itself. In everyday Korean, people add 보다, like try asking, because the other person might not have the answer. So 물어보다 is a little softer as an expression. So people use 물어보다 way more often than 묻다. 잠깐 물어도 될까요? It doesn't sound very natural. 물어보다. So you can even just forget this one almost. So 물어봐도 될까요? But then 여쭤보다 is honorific. Honorific. respectful, polite. So humbling. You're lowering yourself and then making the other person higher. So 잠깐 뭐 좀 여쭤봐도 될까요? This is commonly used between people who are even of the same age and title because it's a polite expression. 물어도 될까요? Yeah. Because 물다 is to bite. Because of this, people are aware of this. So 묻다 is a 디귿 irregular. It's irregular. So 물어요, 물었어요. 물다 is to bite as a regular verb. 물어요. It's conjugated the same. So, for example, between siblings, like my boys, maybe they're, I don't know, being funny, and then somebody like bit, like that. And then maybe our little one won't come running to me saying, 형이 물었어요? He won't say that because as a native speaker, people are already naturally aware of the fact that this can be misleading. So there's another verb that they use. 깨물었어요. 깨물다. So to bite. When we're talking about like a big animal, or like a lion or a big dog or something like that, it's 물다. 사자가 물었어요. Like 사자가 물었어요. There's no confusion. Nobody will see this or hear this and think, oh, did the lion bite or did the lion ask? There's no confusion. It's super, super clear. But 깨물다, it's a word that's used to avoid miscommunication. Okay. 그리고 마지막 깨물다 정말 귀엽죠? 귀엽고 중요한 단어입니다. 여쭤보고 싶은 게 있는데 잠깐만 시간 좀 내주실 수 있을까요? This is included as an example of a long-winded sentence. You will see this a lot. Korean people often give each other feedback about these long-winded sentences and lots of beating around the bush. So basically, the question is, do you have a minute? Right? Do you have a minute? 시간 있어요? Between two co-workers that have a lot of psychological safety, maybe they can say 시간 있어요 in Korea too. But then to somebody in a different team or stuff like that, 여쭤보고 싶은 게 있는데 I have something that I would like to ask you humbly. 잠깐만, for a little bit. 시간 좀. You have 잠깐 and 좀 at the same time in the same sentence. 시간 좀, a little bit of time. 내다, to spare. 시간을 내다, like 돈을 내다, to give money, pay money. 주실 수 있을까요? 잠깐만 시간 좀 내주실 수 있을까요? Very, very formal. But if you can say it in one breath, 여쭤보고 싶은 게 있는데 잠깐만 시간 좀 내주실 수 있을까요? Once again, 여쭤보고 싶은 게 있는데 잠깐만 시간 좀 내주실 수 있을까요? That's going to be very, very impressive. And 잠깐 and 잠시 are, very similar, almost the same. Okay. Everyone, today's live class is going to be slightly shorter than usual. We're doing a webinar at 9 a.m., which is in 20 minutes, for Korean educators who would like to use Talk to Me in Korean materials to make their classes better. So I'm going to hop on over to that one. And thank you for joining today. And please make sure that you review, and please regularly check on our live tab on our YouTube channel. So the plan is we're going to do 2 live classes a week. No, not week. I'm sorry. A month. 2 live classes a month. And then tomorrow we have the same topic as our live class topic. in the community, which I mentioned. You can go to the community and the website, course website, by clicking on the link down below. And yeah, we will actually have people say these lines out loud and we'll practice, because learning is one thing, practicing is also another. You have to practice. And practicing in front of me, 제 앞에서 연습하면 도움이 많이 될 거예요. Because it's a lot of pressure. 네, 뭔가 긴장을 하게 되잖아요. You'll be nervous, and that's a good thing when you practice, because that will force that knowledge to be engraved in your long-term memory. 그래서 내일 수업 때 또 만나요. 내일도 아침 8시에 시작합니다. 부담을 느껴야죠. 네. 그럼 오늘 수업 언제든지 다시 복습하시고요. Please review and see you tomorrow in the community, I hope. And check out the course if you are feeling motivated. 감사합니다.